Once upon a time, in a lush green valley surrounded by tall mountains, there stood a beautiful monastery. It was home to many devoted monks who lived a life of simplicity and contemplation. Each day they woke up before sunrise, meditated, prayed, and engaged in daily chores that kept the monastery running smoothly. Among the monks was a young man named Tenzin. He had grown up in a nearby village and had joined the monastery at a young age. He was known for his dedication to meditation and his gentle nature. He spent most of his days in quiet contemplation, seeking to connect with his inner self and find enlightenment. One day, Tenzin felt a strong desire to meditate alone, away from the distractions of the monastery. He yearned for the solitude of nature and the peace it could offer him, so he ventured out to a nearby lake, where he hoped to find the peace and quiet he craved. As he reached the lake, he noticed a small boat and decided to take it out to the middle of the lake. He found the perfect spot and sat down to meditate with his eyes closed. The gentle lapping of the water and the soothing sounds of nature filled his ears, and he felt a sense of tranquility and calm that he had never experienced before. For hours, Tenzin meditated in silence, his mind free of any external distractions. He felt a deep sense of peace and contentment, and he knew that he had found what he had been seeking for so long. But just as he was entering a deep state of meditation, he suddenly felt a bump on his boat. He was disturbed by the interruption, but he kept his eyes closed and continued to meditate. Soon after, he felt another bump, and then another. This time, his anger began to rise, and he was ready to scream at the boatman who dared to disturb his meditation. However, he managed to control his anger and kept his eyes closed, staying silent. Finally, he could no longer contain his anger, and he opened his eyes to look at the boat that had disturbed him. But to his surprise, he saw that the boat was empty, most likely untethered, and had floated to the middle of the lake. In that moment, he realized that his anger was within him, and it had only needed the bump of an external object to provoke it out of him. This realization was a profound awakening for the young monk. He understood that his anger was not caused by others, but by his own internal state. From then on, whenever he encountered someone who related to him or tried to provoke him to anger, he reminded himself that the other person was merely an empty boat and the anger was within him. He learned to control his emotions and live a more peaceful and fulfilling life. The story of Tenzin and the empty boat soon spread throughout the monastery. The other monks were impressed by Tenzin's wisdom and determination to overcome his own inner demons. They realized that they too had to confront their own anger and negative emotions if they wanted to achieve true inner peace. The monastery soon became a hub of spiritual practice, and many people from far and wide came to learn from the monks' teachings. Tenzin's story became a source of inspiration for many, and his name became synonymous with wisdom and compassion. Years passed, and Tenzin grew old. He continued to meditate and teach others, sharing the wisdom he had gained from his experience on the lake. This story of the monk and the empty boat is a powerful reminder to us in our daily lives. We often encounter situations that provoke us to anger, frustration, or irritation. However, it's important to remember that our reactions are not caused by external factors, but by our own internal state. Just like the monk, we must strive to cultivate inner peace and stillness. By doing so, we can learn to control our reactions and live a more peaceful and fulfilling life. In a world filled with external distractions and endless demands on our time, it's easy to get carried away by our emotions. But with practice and mindfulness, we can find the calm within ourselves and navigate the rough waters of life with grace and equanimity.